I got a lot of work yet to do ahead of me. Can you tell? I'm pooped. And I spent a bunch of time today cutting wood for a neighbor. Husband's in the hospital. Her and the kids need wood, so I did. I got about 5 piles like that today for her. So I feel like I've done something. But I'm done. I've been at this since 9 o'clock this morning. It's about 3:30. Let's talk fishing. You want to talk fishing? I'll be right back. We'll talk fishing. It's been a day. We got weather coming in central Missouri. We're talking maybe 5 or 6 inches of snow starting tomorrow night. And while I probably have enough firewood at the house, it's always nice to have extra. I just got a tailgate load today, except for what I've hauled to my restaurant load this morning. The rest of it I've spent cutting for the neighbor. It's all good. You know, working out, lifting weights, there's this thing that happens that makes you sore. And then you go and abuse yourself like this. It's really funny. I'm doing it to myself. That's the funniest part. We'll talk some baits first. I'm going to talk about something. Something reaches way back. In 1977, I started actually bass fishing. I mentioned one time in a video a long time ago about my first day out. I'm going to do that again in a different video because I'm going to get one of those baits found that I used that day. But anyway, I started fishing a creek mostly near the house. Randy Blockett style. It's kind of funny. Same thing. Creek about a half mile from my house, big creek. When I discovered it had bass in it, couldn't believe it. I was already hooked on bass fishing from ponds and stuff, so did that mostly. But there's a lake, a series of lakes. It's a community thing out in the country near our church back in the day. Well, they're still there. And that's my first bass fishing trip for real went. This is about kind of my second time there. So it was October or maybe last of September, like the very last September, 77. And they were going to have a work day at church. My dad was going, so I got to go fishing. And my excuse to get to go fishing. So I was 13 years old and ate up. My rod and reel again was a solid fiberglass 5-foot Zebco rod with a Zebco 202. And at that time, I'd put brand new 10-pound or 12-pound line, whatever. I was having problems with it. And I went the day before and bought a plug. And there's a story because I wanted a plug. When I wanted a plug for the first trip, my first trip to this lake back in about June or so. And my buddy said he'd get me one. He got a different plug than I thought. And it get me a great plug. But anyway, so I went to the grocery store to carry tackle. And I bought one of these. Now, this isn't the one, but I bought one of these. It's a Bomber Model A. A 7A Bomber. Oh man, the stuff, I tell you. The one I had it was pearl back, kind of a light silver side with little silver speckles on it. They were scale pattern. Not that it matters. I just remember, I don't know where that bait went over the years. It's gone. I got some other baits like it in a different color, that pattern. But anyway, so here I am with my 5-foot Zebco solid glass rod. And a front is moving through. It was cloudy all day, temperature dropped. By the time the day ended, I fished, of course, 6, 7 hours, 8 hours, whatever. It was in the low 40s. I was freezing to death because I had no rain gear and it drizzled on and off all day. I was wearing my jean jacket, which it's funny, that jean jacket went with me everywhere. I got pictures somewhere. If I could find them, I'd post them of me in early days. All little round-faced, all happy, innocent bass fisherman wannabe in my jean jacket. But I was toasted in the day. I remember that. But I wasn't cold during the day because I was fishing. So I don't remember how I started that day off or whatever, but I ended up walking down to the dam. Went across. I fished some there. The willows were in the way. So I get across. Now, this is surrounded by houses, subdivision type thing. So I'm in somebody's yard, and I'm fishing this thing, and I had this Bomber Model A tied on. And this is just a 7-acre, maybe 8-acre lake. It's not real deep. I'm digging bottom. I don't care. I'm not even thinking about that. I'm just trying to catch a bass. And I launch it. I remember that so perfect. How do you remember these things? I launched that cast out into that howling wind, and it went a long ways for a change. I hadn't cranked it very far, and it just solid stopped, and immediately this big old bass jumps. Big to a 13-year-old. I don't remember a lot about the fight. It wasn't no grandiose thing, but I caught that fish, dragged it. I remember backing up the bank and dragging it up on the grass. I had me a bona fide 15-inch, 16-inch, 2.5-pound bass. My biggest bass to date. I'd caught 12, 13 inches. That was one that was worthy of being called a big bass for a 13-year-old. So proud of that fish. Another memory from that day, to me it's a very important memory, is I went to the second lake, the one just downstream, and I was fishing a plastic worm, a 6-inch black grape man's jelly worm. Texas rig with a Sprode hook, horrible hook, a little bullet weight with that wimpy little rod and reel. And I missed several bites, or I think I had bites. I remember yanking and jerking and dodging that thing coming back at me. But I was fishing a bald cypress tree. Yeah, we got cypress trees in Missouri. Some places got a bunch of them. I was fishing the knees of that thing, probably a foot of water, and I get bit just 10 foot away, and I catch my first bass ever on a plastic worm, on a man's jelly worm. Bona fide moments, y'all. I mean, to me, that's important stuff. Those kind of days don't happen anymore, of course, or so rare. I mean, I've had days all the way into my 30s when I was guiding and fishing tournaments and stuff that you remember and stuff that seems important. But that Bomber Model A thing was my first time ever with a real serious crankbait. And then to catch fish on the jelly worm same day, that's pretty cool stuff. Of course, when you're new, everything's new to you. You can have a lot of firsts, you know. That was some good firsts for me. So my idea for this video come to me that baits it. I don't know. I guess they still make a Model A. You don't hear nothing about it. And I'm going to do a series of things like this on baits like that. And with some of my memories, I'd like to hear y'all's memories too. Now this one here, it's got that crawdad pattern. It's a paint on. It's probably an 80s bait, but it's a screw bait. It's got the screw eye in the back, a screw tail. I don't have very many of these newer ones. I do have some. Here's a modern chartreuse with the inset wire, which is not a big deal. The thing about these Model A's is funny. I probably own 30 of them. And I had more gifted to me last year from my buddy whose grandpa, great-grandpa, gave me. There was some in that box, and my buddy Mike Carver, I'm pretty sure he gave me some too, so I'm not going to run out of them anytime soon. Thing about this bait was, the wiggle wart was coming on by the time I started tournament fishing in the early 80s. But this is my first crankbait, first deep dive, well, deep diver to me. And over the years, I threw that thing in places probably people wouldn't throw it. I threw it in brush and grass and cold water. I've caught bass over 4 pounds in 38-degree water with that bait. And I fish it in the summertime where most folks won't throw wiggle wart in the summertime. Mistake. I've won one tournament ever on it, a club tournament, but I've also, oh my gosh, weighed in a ton of fish in second and third and money finishes in tournaments. And when I was guiding, my 3 favorite crankbaits, 2 regular crankbaits were a Model A and a wiggle wart for my clients, and a rattle trap, because anybody throwing a rattle trap right on is going to get bit. Kind of simple stuff, right? And I don't like a rattle trap. We'll talk about that. So I hate them things. I got boxes of them. So the Bomber Model A, and it was really cool. 1981. Is that right? Stanley Mitchell wins the Bassmasters Classic on a Bomber Model A. Oh yeah. I thought, well, heck, it ain't no news to me. And they got popular for a while. He was throwing Bomber had a deal where they had a chrome or a shiny piece of mylar down the middle of the bait. Very nice idea. I got the long A jerk bait, same way. They're gold or silver, so they refract. And then they'll paint a coach dog or a pattern over the top on the outside of the bait. And Stanley was throwing that crappie pattern, which is a clear bait with a chrome center. Very neat way to build a bait with just black splotches on it. I went and bought some. I believe it. That's a good bait to this day. I don't know. Nobody makes a bait that way. I wonder if Bomber's still, because I've got some newer Bomber Model A's that are that way. I mean, 10, 20-year-old Bombers, they're that way. It's just an interesting way to make a bait. It's one of those things that it can't be that hard to do. Before they glue them together, they put that mylar in there, glue it together, and it's just awesome. Huh. I just thought about that. Wonder if anybody even does anymore. That Model A is awesome. I'm not going to do a story on the next bait. My next crankbait was interesting, though. I'll talk about it real quick. Was a Cordell Big O, the original alphabet crankbait. Model A, Big O, Balsa B, on deep little ends. You know what that means, right? Yeah, that's some good history there, too. It's a 1/4 ounce or a fifth that way. It was a little one, 1.5 inches or so. And it was pearl white with the blue eyes. And then, you remember the days they had metal flake glued to it. They'd spray the bait with something sticky, and they'd throw some metal flake at it. You don't see much of that anymore. Several companies did that. Rogers was big on it. Cordell, I don't remember who all, but that was a big deal. I had rattle traps that way. That's something they don't do anymore, probably for good reason. That little Big O was pretty special, too. I wish I knew where it went. I don't remember ever losing it. Again, I talked today about your rods and reels over the years, where they went or what happened to them. I don't remember I remember breaking off baits that about broke my heart, but I don't remember where that bait went. I remember that first Model A went. I got a pile of these, though. Crawdad, shad colors, chartreuses. Oh, yeah. And some old coach dog patterns. Awesome stuff. So that's all I got. How's that for simple? Thank you guys for watching as always. God bless. Let me know what your baits are. Let me know what you like. Tell me about that Model A stuff you got. And somebody tell me if we're still making that refraction Mylar center. Talk at y'all later.